Ladies and gentlemen, this is a case about within a family, within law enforcement, danger within society. Evidence will show that on 9th of 2018 started ordinary day. Ronald Anthony Burgos-Aviles, the man who sits here today, a supervisor, Border Patrol agent of 9 years, reports to the North Station for his shift from 6 a.m. He arrives. The evidence will show that he goes to the visitor where the assignments are handed. At about 8:01, after he's assigned his kilo unit, you're going to hear that word kilo unit during this trial. And that is the term that they use for the pickup trucks. We've all seen the white and green by Border Patrol. He was K119. 6119. He was driving. Exits at 8:01 a.m. His destination, Father McDowell Park off of Mines Road. That is the area to be in charge of that day, and the evidence will show that that area covers from Father McDowell Park all the way to World Trade Bridge. He is a supervisor, and he has other agents under his. But today is far from normal. Today, April the 9th of 2018, is the day that he is going to carry out a sinister. The evidence will show that invites a young woman, a secret lover, and the child that they have together to the park. But the evidence will show that is not at the park, but it is in a dense, brushy area near the Rio Grande River. He instructs her to arrive at Father McDowell Park, to park her car, and to take the walk to this secret meeting. We'll take you there. You'll see, and the evidence will show that she walks by the baseball field, then she walks through a nature trail, then she walks around a soccer field, then she gets near the river area, and that's where the dirt trail starts. The plan is to set up an ambush. The evidence will show that the kilo unit, 66119, is parked at the end of this trail. We will take you to that trail. You will see the vantage point that when she's pushing her stroller and she enters the path, up ahead is the kilo unit, the pickup truck. That's the decoy. What she doesn't know is that Ronald Anthony Burgos-Aviles is lying in wait. He is hiding, waiting for her to get close enough to the truck to carry out his ambush. The time around that this is going on is about 9:45 in the morning. The next few minutes that this young woman and this innocent baby experience is the most horrific and terrifying, unimaginable thing that anybody could imagine. It's at that time that her attacker comes out of the brush and with violent and vicious moves, clenching a knife, attacks this young woman. But what does every mother, what does every mother have? What does God give every mother when it comes to protecting a child? What will every mother do? The evidence will show that they will protect, that they will fight, and they will even die in order to protect their child, just like a mother bear. Who is this young mother? Who is this innocent baby? Griselda Hernandez? And 18-month-old Dominic Hernandez. These are the two victims that on that morning lives were taken. The evidence will show that the plan that Ronald Anthony Burgos-Aviles set was to make it look like some smugglers had attacked this woman. The dirt trail that he used his skills, that he knew so well, the trees, the brush, the camouflage, areas that he had patrolled before, were perfect for this crime. What he did not anticipate was the fight. The fight. You see, when we take you to this trail, there is going to be a lot of evidence that showed how violent this fight was. We're going to bring you physical evidence. There's going to be photos. There's going to be lots and lots and lots of blood. This dirt trail will tell a story. It will tell a very tragic and horrific story. You see, the evidence will show that baby Dominic was being hunted, but not by a creature, not by an animal, but by his own father, the man sitting here today, supervising Border Patrol agent Ronald Anthony Burgos-Aviles. But in order to get his prey, in order to get that baby, he needed to go through Griselda. "27 stab wounds." I said that. 27 stab wounds it took to stop Griselda. We will bring you evidence that will show stab wounds to her face, her shoulders, her back, her arms, her ear. Stabbed so many times that she was almost unrecognizable. You will see through the forensic evidence the defensive wounds on her that show how violent the attack was. You will also see that in the fight, she lost her shoes. The tennis shoes that she was wearing were off her feet. After he kills Griselda, and one of the things that you're going to have to pay attention to is that this fight, that it happens, this attack happens so sudden when she's holding the stroller with her baby, and he's got his little cell phone, his phone, he has certain apps or games. Comes from behind, the attack moves. You'll see the blood trail where she's trying to fight or get away until the fight moves from a south to north direction. I'm going to show you, this is a satellite view of the area of Father Magdalene Park, the Rio Grande, and the brushy area where this took place. We will take you there through the testimony, through the evidence. You will see in this area of this dirt trail where this ambush and attack took place. After he finishes with Griselda, he's now able to get the innocent baby. The evidence will show that as she lays dead, he walks back to the stroller. We'll bring you the stroller. He gets in front of baby Dominic and he unstraps the buckle to take him out. Baby Dominic is confused at this time, probably scared. How do we know this? The evidence, blood. Griselda's blood is on the straps, on the buckles, where he unbuckled the baby. Mama Bear's blood is there where he unbuckles the baby. What he does next is something that is unimaginable. Takes the baby into the grass, into the brush, closer to the river, holding the baby, 18 months old, his son. And you will see the pictures of Dominic. Dominic is wearing a green shirt from Star Wars. And on that shirt, he has a picture of Yoda. It's the baby Yoda. It says, "Lucky I." Lucky I am. We'll bring you the shirt and you'll see the shirt. One of the things, and again, I'm going to ask you throughout this trial to pay close attention to the details, because the details will prove the case beyond a reasonable doubt. One of the interesting facts about the, and I'll come and I'll show it to you, is the shirt. There's no hole in the shirt. Why is that important? Because when he takes baby under a weasel down, he picks up the shirt. His eyes. He holds his hand over his little face. He takes the knife, puts it right in the middle of the sternum, that little pigeon bone right here, and he punctures baby. But baby Dominic, later, and he doesn't die. He doesn't stop at that point. There's no clarity as to what am I doing to this child. No. He has to finish the job. So like he did to his mother, with the same sharp object, he puts it to baby Dominic's throat. That little 3-inch throat. Sticks the knife, cuts the carotid, and cuts the jugular vein. You'll see the blood. You'll see how Dominic was left drenched in blood. On this side, evidence that when stabbed in the carotid artery, in the jugular, that squirts. That's where he has to step back. And that's where the baby tries to stand up or sit up and then falls down. There's blood all over his jeans. Now what? Now what does the evidence tell us? The evidence will next tell you that Ronald Anthony Burgos-Aviles next is to stage the crime. Remember what we talked about in jury selection? Who decides where, when, and how to commit the crime? The defendant. The work after. They have the head start. Him being a law enforcement officer, being trained, what they're going to look for. So let me create a scene. You're going to see the scene. The first thing the evidence is going to show is that he grabs a phone. The baby, the baby would play games with it, and he takes. The next thing he does is that he throws the stroller to the east in the brush. There's a shoe around that where the initial ambush took place. He grabs a shoe, he throws it towards the river, and it lands in the tall grass. Next, he has to go to Griselda. What does she have? That's important. Her phone. He grabs her phone. But what happens? A double murder has just occurred. There's adrenaline, nerves, fear. Panic starts to set in. And it's going to be very important for all of you to pay attention throughout this trial to see the mistakes that he makes. He had a plan. Now he's got two bloody, innocent people down. He has to stage it, but things start moving fast. There's going to be many mistakes that he committed, but the evidence, and I'll highlight just a few that you're going to see. The evidence will show that in the Kilo unit, 66119, the official Border Patrol truck that he was driving, he goes in there. The two phones that belong to both of his victims, he places them in a vest, the Border Patrol protective vest, and you'll see the name Burgos, R. Burgos. He stuffs them under on the passenger side. During the when Griselda was fighting and kicking for her life, he loses a belt keeper. You see, you'll learn that police officers wear a belt, and then on top of that belt, they wear a Sam Brown, which is their utility belt where they have their gun. But that's held by keepers. Typically 3 to 4 keepers around the waist to hold all the equipment together, right? One of those keepers falls. It falls. It's stepped on during the fight. And blood droplets fall on the river. And we'll show you who those blood droplets belong to. He throws that belt into the truck. And guess where it lands? Under the front seat. Under the front seat. 9:49 a.m. How do we get that time? We're going to bring you GPS evidence. We're going to bring you every unit patrol has technology, right? We're going to bring you the evidence that shows that in this circumstance, when you turn off your unit system, the GPS system records the time it turns off. The evidence show that the best calculation of when this murder took place was between 9:49 and a.m. I'll repeat that. It's very important. 9:49, 10 a.m. In between that time. At 9:49, it turns off one time. Could it be that that's when Griselda was coming up, pushing the stroller, and he died? At 10:10, it turns off again a little bit further down the trail at 10:10. Ladies and gentlemen, there's a lot going on at this time. What did we say in jury selection? That sometimes evidence is lost. It controls the evidence. I'll tell you right now, we're not going to have bloody pants. We're not going to have a bloody shirt. We're not going to have bloody shoes, boots, or tennies. We're not. The evidence of what he was wearing, we do not have. Why? because the evidence will show that he had time on his side. And if you want to see the knife that was used, you're not going to see it. We do not have but I'll tell you what we do have. We have technology. You see, when he's leaving the brush area, there's a camera, a security camera set up by us in the brush, facing an area where normally there's either criminal activity, and they're called drawbridge cameras. There is a camera pointing to the east. You will see his kilo unit, his truck driving by, and it snaps a picture. We will also bring you evidence of camera from the city of his path after the murder. It's important to think logically and chronologically throughout this case. He has just killed 2 people using a knife. At least 29 stab wounds. You will see the tremendous amount of blood at the crime scene. How do you control so much blood? You can't. You can't. One of the mistakes was, and maybe it wasn't, but the evidence will show that baby Dominic's blood on the back tailgate marking the truck of his killer. You're going to see it. See video footage from his home, from the neighbor's camera, sometime 10:15, 10:30, shortly after the dawn. You will see this man who sits here today. You will see getting off his government vehicle in shorts and in tennies. I said you're going to see him after the murders get off his truck in shorts and tennies. He went to work that morning in his full uniform. He left full green uniform. And after the murders, his neighbor's video catches him getting off his truck, and he leaves it on. Leaves it on. But you'll see a glimpse. You'll see the shorts, you'll see the tennies, you'll see him. He's not there more than 10 minutes. Comes out. Now you won't see the evidence of him coming out in his full green uniform. We don't have that. Didn't catch it. But you'll have his actions of what he needs to do next. And what does he have to do? The man's in charge of this sector between Father McNabb Park and World Trade Bridge. He's just committed a murder. He's gone home. He's gotten rid of evidence. Gone home, got dressed again. Now he has to get back. But what happens when he comes back? A couple of his agents see him. They driving erratically, speeding in the area near World Trade Bridge. What does that do? What does that do? You'll hear from those agents. They'll tell you his demeanor. Things now are having to, there's decisions going to be made on them. Things are changing. Maybe somebody else, but now he's been spotted. driving fast, probably trying to get to some spot. So what does he decide to do? The evidence will show that he turns around near World Trade Bridge, drives back all the other McNable Park, where he's trying to get back to the area where the two bodies now have been for possibly more than an hour. And when he's driving in, he runs into Border Patrol Lara and Smith, who happen to be parked near, probably somewhere they shouldn't have been, but they were fixing in their truck. The evidence will show that Border Patrol supervisor pulls up, his hands are clenched on the steering wheel, and he asks a very odd question, and you'll hear it. He asks Border Patrol Lara, "What's over there?" Pointing to the brushy area, and Lara says, "Well, there's an ATV trail. There's a trail that we have. Oh, if there's an exit?" Lara's like, "Well, I don't think so, but if you want to go check." Right after that, the evidence will show that he comes on the radio. Lara, get over here. I need you." That's where he initiates this whole charade of finding a dead body. And we'll get back to that. But it's going to be very important for you to pay attention to what the Border Patrol agents and the police officers who respond, because the evidence is going to hear that the one that makes the call is none other than Ronald Anthony Burgos-Aviles. The man that sits here today is the one that calls in a subject needing EMS. Send the ambulance. Can we get more information? Send an ambulance. You're going to hear when he calls it in. And you're going to hear and see from the people that come here, the witnesses, that this man was there when they arrived. Now, how did we get here? And this story, this tragic story, without telling you the beginning, because there is a middle and there's an end. That Griselda met this guy who told her, who the evidence shows, that his name was Anthony Burgos. That's very important. She knew him as Anthony. She got with him in 2015. You're going to learn that through her friends. She got involved with him in 2015. Boys. They were having this secret relationship where they would see each other. You may even hear during this trial the benefit, and that was their relationship. They would get together to have a good time. But she got pregnant in 2015. She gets pregnant. On July 26th of 2016, July the 26th of 2016, little baby Dominic Alexander Hernandez is born. He's born. The evidence will show that all of the time that this little innocent baby was alive, he was being provided for by Griselda and her family. Not once, the evidence will show, not once did this man today ever take responsibility for that innocent baby. But what do they say, right? Babies are expensive. Griselda had dreams. She had hopes. She had goals. You're going to learn that one of her dreams, one of her goals was to become a nurse like her older sister, Angelica. And we're going to bring you Angelica. And Angelica is going to be a very important witness in making the connection between her baby sister and this guy that they know as Anthony. Because their meetings were secret, the family didn't really know much about Anthony. And Griselda protected him. So much so, first 18 months of Dominic's life, she made herself financially responsible for Dominic. You're going to learn that she wanted to be a nurse, but because of the financial strain that was going on in her life, she needed help. Yeah, through the evidence that she was supporting her daycare through student loans. Go so far, right? Baby needs daycare. Griselda needed help. How do you get help in the state of Texas? Child support. And Griselda did what the right that every young woman has who becomes pregnant when there's a father who does not want to make himself responsible. She has her right to go to the Texas Attorney General and begin the process. You will see the evidence of her trying to say, hey, help me out. Help me out. But no help was coming. So what do? So the chronology is going to show that in 2017 in December, she starts practicing how to tell him, hey, I'm going to have to go to the Attorney General. In January of 2018 is when she says, I need help. I'm thinking about going to the child support. Can you help me out? This is when, and the evidence is going to show, and you're going to have to pay close attention to this. This is when the Facebook activity is going to spike up with their communications. Every time she brings up child support, what he does is deflect the subject by using humor, talking about sex, giving her guilt trips. You're going to see this pattern, right? But he's not showing rage. He's not showing anger. You'll see the communications. And it's not how's Dominic. El nene, the baby, or the baby. But he doesn't use Dominic's name. By March the 21st of 2018, by that time he's already been served. When you file a child support action in the state of Texas, one of the first steps is what's called a negotiation conference. A negotiation conference. And that's where the state of Texas will try to bring the father into a meeting to try to work out, hey, this is what the percentage is, this is what you're going to have to pay. By March the 21st, that was already set. You're going to see evidence that that train was moving. That legal proceeding had already started. And then something happens that had never happened before. Something happens. He says, I want to meet Dominic. And I guess through the pressure, something else comes out through these Facebook communications. And there's a prediction. And you're going to see it. A prediction where he tells Griselda, in a few weeks, I don't think you're going to want to be my friend. Real subtle. In a few weeks, I don't think you're going to want to be my friend. March 24th, I want to see you guys tomorrow. In the morning of March the 25th, this is a very important date, ladies and gentlemen. On March the 25th, approximately at around 9:49 a.m., she gets a text to meet him at Winfield Park, off of Del Mar and Winfield. There's a park as you go into this neighborhood. He selects the area. This is a big day because for the first time in baby Dominic's 18 months alive, he's going to meet his father. The evidence will show that she goes over there, she gets there. Burgos says he's going to be playing basketball and he's there at the park, sends her the instructions. She arrives, she shows baby Dominic, introduces baby Dominic to his father. She has to go back to her vehicle to get some stuff. So she gives the baby over to the father. Something that maybe she shouldn't have done. But she so badly wanted to trust this man. She hands over her innocent child to him. She goes to the truck or the car. When she comes back, baby Dominic is crying. Baby Dominic is in crisis. Something's going on with baby Dominic. She can't figure it out. It's so bad that she cancels the meeting. She takes the baby back and says, I gotta get out of here. I gotta go. You're gonna hear evidence from Angelica Hernandez and you're gonna see the communications of saying something happened to Dominic. What? What happened to Dominic? I don't know. I think he got bit by something. They get over to Angelica's house, and the evidence will show that Angelica, being a registered nurse, they strip down the baby, starts to examine the baby, and they find a small wound on his thigh. On his thigh. Think about it. You take your child out to a park in April. It's warm. You're in the outdoors. What happened? It was probably a spider bite. It was probably a spider bite. Even at that moment, ladies and gentlemen, Griselda, Angelica, still no indication that they were in danger. It'll be very important later on, and the evidence will show that in fact was not a spider bite. You're going to hear evidence and testimony that over the course of the next 15 days, from March the 25th up until April the 9th, and you're going to see evidence that baby Dominic's leg did not heal. It did not heal. It got so bad, ladies and gentlemen, that you're going to see that he was unable to stand. He could not walk. This is an 18-month-old child that was running around like any toddler up until March the 25th. And after March the 25th of 2018, he was dragging himself, crawling around. The mama was worried. She wanted answers. You'll hear from Dr. Rodriguez, one of the physicians, a pediatrician that went to go see him. They took baby Dominic. And what do doctors rely on when it comes to children? First thing they're going to ask you is the history. And you're going to have Dr. Rodriguez come here and he'll talk about the history that was given to him by the mother. It was a day or so after the injury. There were some photos that were taken by Angelica at her house. She had instructed her sister to show them to the doctor. She didn't show them to the doctor. The doctor went based on what he was being told by Mama. Mama was telling him that it was a spider bite. So the evidence and the protocol you're going to see that was followed was that of a spider bite treatment. Antibiotics, other, little anti-inflammatory type things. And you know what? It's always easy to go back and say, man, if we would have known. Because it was a hole. You're going to see it, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to show you the pictures. That on his little left eye, he has a prick, a hole. But what caused it? What caused it? And we're going to bring you evidence that is going to be a very plausible source of what caused that injury. I won't say it now, but we'll bring it to you.
You can wrap it up, Johnny.
I'll finish up with this. So I could have 5 more minutes, 10. But that morning of April 9th, she goes. She's going to go meet Anthony. She's going to meet Anthony. She calls her sister Angelica, and she tells her, "Can I borrow your Mercedes?" She says yes. Angelica picks her up. She goes and drops Angelica off. Then they go to Chick-fil-A. They buy one of his favorite meals, a chicken minis, and this is at 8:14 in the morning. After that, the evidence will show that they deliver the food to Angelica at work, and she makes one more stop at Adriana Flores' house. We will bring you Adriana Flores, the last person to see her alive. Now, Adriana would have told her, "Hey, I'll take care of the baby." And she says, "No, I'm going to go see the father at Father Magdalene Park. I'm going to go see Anthony." She leaves. She goes. She gets to the park at 9:09 a.m. We're going to show you video of the car driving in, the white Mercedes sedan, as she drives in and out of the different parking spaces. She waits. There's a Snapchat text that she gets. We figure the evidence will show that's her indication to go. She loads her stroller. She loads Dominic, and she starts the 10 to 15 minute walk over to Father Magdalene Park. And when she gets there, she's killed. Now we have a double murder on our hands, and the Laredo police are in charge of unraveling this tangled web. And we're going to bring you those witnesses. We're going to bring you family. We're going to bring you friends, Border Patrol and police officers that will give you facts and show you how the evidence shows that this man used his skill, used his training, used deception, and used extreme violence to carry this out. One of the most shocking, and I need to say this, one of the most shocking moments in this case is going to be when they discovered his identity. You're going to hear from Sergeant Gilbert Benavides, one of the officers who identified the vehicle, and they run the license plate. When he runs the license plate, it gives an address to Angelica Hernandez. So he goes to Angelica Hernandez's house, makes contact, and verifies. Angelica Hernandez is terrified. "What happened to my sister? Can you tell me what she's doing?" "Yes. She went to the park to go meet Anthony. At this moment, and you're going to hear the live transmissions of Gilbert Benavides on Channel 3, where he says, subject, that's 82, which is dead, went to meet baby daddy or her ex, some guy named Anthony Burgos. Every cop that's on scene has a radio. or a radio on his waist. That's broadcast. And guess who's standing around there at that time? That man right there. He hears it. He makes his way. The evidence will show he takes a 10-minute walk to go back to Griselda's car. And then you're going to hear, does anyone have visual on him? You'll hear lead detective, Raimundo Garcia. You'll hear his voice when he says, hey, that's the guy that found the body. That's the guy that found the body. Somebody get visual on him. And then Detective Ray will come and tell you he switches to a cell phone so that it's not broadcast. The killer is right there among the police officers in full uniform. Detective Reyes will come and tell you when they say Anthony Burgos, he sees Burgos and he says, hey, what's your name? And you know what the evidence is going to show? That he says, my name's Ronald. My name's Ronald. Deception. The name he gave Grisela was Anthony. And I'm wrapping it up. Detective Reyes has enough already where he says, give me your full name. Ronald Anthony Burgos-Aviles. The officers figure out. One of the other officers there, Greg de la Cruz, I believe his name is, hey, get this guy's weapons up against the car. Take off your Sam Brown. Hey, what's going on? They disarm him. You'll hear when at that moment when they ask him, the hand gets close. It's a tense moment. You'll see Detective Rick Reyes, big guy, 2-3 times any of our size. Thank God he was there. And they get Burgos-Aviles and they put him in the unit. Super important. There's a camera in the unit. We will bring you the footage from that camera. And guess what? It has audio. When he gets in there, and you're going to hear him as he sits in the back seat and he's licking and wiping his arms. Teléfono. He says that. Teléfono. Where are the phones? They're in the truck that is at the crime scene under his vest. The very phones that we use to tell us that story. Detective Garcia will bring you all of this evidence. You'll also hear experts. And in the end, Dr. Stern, our Webb County medical examiner, will tell you, in her opinion, that the injury caused to baby Dominic's leg was caused by a needle, between a 14 to 18 gauge needle. Something was injected into that child. It was too late now because the baby was now dead. There was nothing else that can be done. But Detective Garcia will tell you that in his personal truck, in his lunchbox, guess what we found? Syringe and needles. Syringe and needles. In the end, ladies and gentlemen, all of the facts, all of the evidence, all of the circumstantial evidence that you use every single day in your lives will show that this man used his skill, used his expertise, used his job, used his equipment, used extreme violence, and used deception to kill 2 innocent people.